This is the Ceratosaurus. Discovered in 1884 by paleontologist Othelio Charles Marsh, Ceratosaurus would be known as one of the apex predators of late Jurassic North America, using its powerful jaws to bite into its prey, only rivaled by bigger species such as Allosaurus. But hang on, this isn't a weekly dino episode. So let's skip ahead a couple million years, and Ceratosaurus is kind of a C-list dinosaur, either not well known or getting its ass kicked by any Allosaurus possible in multiple documentaries. I mean, he even got disrespect in his first film appearance, where he literally shows up and sniffs some copper light in the making. Speaking of that,
one big pile of shit.
Since it did appear in Jurassic Park 3, for at least 5 seconds, it was due to get its own figure eventually. And get one it did, but it's by Hasbro. So we're not talking about this. Because in 2022, Mattel released the Hammond collection, a toy line with highly articulated and movie-accurate figures from the Jurassic Park franchise, making not only the dinosaurs, but the human cast too. Now, for the most part, I slept on this toy line, mainly because I was, collecting other stuff. But one day I was at my local Walmart and I saw this guy on sale, so I thought, sure, why not? So this is an incidental review on Hammond Collection Ceratosaurus. Let me be honest, I thought this figure was inaccurate at first. Don't get me wrong, at first glance it may look the same, but if you look closer, unlike Jurassic Park 3's design, it has a different skull shape, slimmer proportions, and a lighter color scheme. But then, while I was looking for reference pictures, I then remembered that Jurassic World Evolution 2 existed, and it had a Ceratosaurus design that was a dead ringer for this figure. I'm guessing they only made a new model was so that the creature could feel more unique, since the original Ceratosaurus from JP3 was made up of reused Tyrannosaurus assets. Assets. So, despite what the description says on MattelCreations.com, this is not based off JP3, meaning that I'm going to use the Jurassic World Evolution 2 model as a main reference. So, with that accuracy debacle out of the way, I'll admit that the sculpting for this little fella is really good. From the scales that are all around his body, to the scutes on his feet, to the little osteoderms across his back, for me, it's times like these where you really appreciate the modern technology for producing toys. I mean, they even added muscle detailing on the inside of the mouth. Like, they didn't have to do that, but they did. And I fully appreciate it. I'd say the only real complaint I have is the fact that the teeth are a bit too thick and stick out too much. Granted, with the mouth open, they look fine. But when you close his mouth and stare at him from the front, well, you get Grandpa with his dentures. See, this is why we need to give dinosaur lips more often. And anyone who thinks I'm joking, I'm not. Much like the reptiles of today, dinosaurs had lips to protect their teeth from drying out. So not only will it be, kinda accurate, but it'll also make them look, well, less like this. Moving on, the paint is definitely where the figure lacks the most. Don't get me wrong, because it's far from horrible. Hell, I wouldn't even call it bad. It just feels detailed in some areas more than others. Such as how they bothered to make the brown stripe pattern consistent, but then made the blending point of the red and beige look half-assed. Not only that, but the two colors seep together way too early, since the in-game model has red going down its entire back and slowly fading until there's none. Though maybe that's just a nitpick on my end, because honestly, who cares? It's freaking beige. Nobody cares about beige. Hell, I'm sure there's a wild beige outside your house right now, dying of starvation, and you're doing nothing. Because every year, 50,000 beiges die due to a lack of help, and they may soon go extinct. So please call and donate now to 470-332. Another nitpick I have is the fact that they added details that just weren't there to begin with, and it just looks out of place, such as this brown pattern surrounding the eyes, which are just there for some reason. I guess it could make the head design cooler, but I prefer the plain red. Also, you're telling me you guys could afford to put little brown dots all over the body, but couldn't afford to put some beige stripes above where the lips are, or paint a simple dew claw at the end of the foot? Though, like I said, just nitpicks, cause I'm petty. Though something I can't excuse is the fact that the figure is just too vibrant. Vibrant isn't a bad thing, but for what the figure's based off of, it kinda is. Especially since I think the lighter hues is one of the reasons why the fading red doesn't look the best. It's not like I hate it or anything, it's just I would prefer if the colors were a bit muted. Now for the articulation. It's actually fairly posable for a dinosaur. The jaws can surprisingly open up wide, while the head and neck are on ball joints. A part of me kinda wishes the neck was a bit more posable, kinda like the promo images on Mattel Creations, but this is fine the way it is. The shoulders can rotate 360 degrees with an added bend. The forearm can also bend up and down with an added swivel. Something I forgot to mention when going over the sculpt was the arms. They're just too big. Reminds me of a modern Sonic character. But I mean, you do know what they say about dinosaurs with big hands. They can hold big knives. The thighs, knees, ankles, and feet can both bend and swivel, which can get you into some real cool running poses. Lastly, the tail is on a simple ball joint, which I'm fine with, honestly, because there's already so much here. It's posable, it's nice to look at, it has good balance just so long as you pose the feet correctly, and overall a solid figure. I mean, sure, my complaints are still valid, but I'm willing to put them all aside because of how much I love this guy. Comparing him to other figures, I'd say he's a pretty good size, at your average 6-inch scale. So if you want a human in scale, I'd obviously just recommend the Hammond collection human characters themselves, or just anything in 3.75-inch scale. So in a nutshell, what do I think of this figure? I think it's the crap smeller of the year, an 8 out of 10. So that's gonna be the end of this review. Tune in next time to when I do something, I don't know. But anyways, thank you all for watching and have a lovely day.